Bad. All right, welcome back, everybody. So just some quick announcements for this week. Next week's meeting is going to be 2D movement and physics in Unity. So excited for that. Also, if anyone's interested, the creative committee chair is still currently open. So like, if you want to get involved with the club a little more, feel free to apply. You can just talk to me after the meeting if you're interested. We can kind of talk it through. Additionally, if you want to still pay your dues and haven't yet, Adam's here today, so feel free to talk to him. I don't know why, yeah, $15 for dues. You can also do $15 just for the shirt, or $25 for both dues and shirt. So, additionally, there's a lecture at the MU next Tuesday with Casper Hartvelt from the, I believe, Northeastern University from Boston, Massachusetts, coming to talk about game design. So suggest coming by for that. There's also going to be like a little like game night after with like some of the other like gaming adjacent clubs. So worth swinging by for that in case you want to just hang out too. So, but also semester jam, because we didn't reveal a theme last week. Drum roll for the theme. Money. So again, similar rules, kind of like the normal game jam, but you know, you have a whole semester instead of 48 hours. So as long as it pertains to the theme of money, you can kind of do whatever you want. If you haven't signed up already, there's a QR code there, link there. Again, it's in the Discord. So you can still do teams. Max team size is 5. There is a buy-in if you would like to do it. You can win the whole pot if you win. So, but you have to, you know, pay to get the pot. So you can just participate for free if you want, but no money. So, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. But yeah. So kind of like a general like itinerary for today's meeting. Gonna have a little bit of a Yap sesh for a little bit, talking about level design. Then we'll kind of be doing a little activity and then presenting it after. So yeah, here's the Yap portion. I'll try to keep it brief. So level design. So just like your local empty mall, levels must be designed. So the main kind of like important questions you want to ask when you're like thinking about level design are either like what kind of game you're making. So like obviously a like point and click adventure game has a little bit different level design than like say like a 3D like platformer, for example. Additionally, like what are you trying to achieve with your game? If you want like a very like, you know, platforming intensive, like very skillful kind of gameplay versus like something like Human Fall Flat where it's like very meant to just be like kind of annoying to get around. Kind of two different approaches. You would design those kind of levels differently, obviously. And then also like what kind of mechanics are you designing it around? So like Sonic and Mario, completely different in how they kind of function, but like, you know, they're both 2D platformers, but like Sonic's all about going fast. Mario's about just kind of like jumping and stuff. So, again, whatever dimensions you're kind of working with greatly change how the kind of game you're working with works. As well as like the genre, as I kind of mentioned, so like platformers, movement shooters, RPGs, Peggle-likes, those all kind of like, you know, have their levels laid out differently. So additionally, also your target audience is something you want to consider too. So like if you're making the next Hollow Knight, which is like generally known for being like a harder game versus like a new Hello Kitty game. They function pretty differently in like who's going to be playing those kind of games. So you want to keep that in mind, not like alienate who's going to be playing it anyway. So there's also like, you know, what kind of game you're trying to achieve. So like a collectathon versus like a puzzle platformer, or like some kind of like just walking simulator sort of game, whatever that is.
LSD Dream Emulator for the PS1.
Yeah, I saw you put that in there.
Yes.
Also, like your core mechanics kind of like help influence what you kind of want the game to like be like when you're playing it. So like, you know, when thinking about like how you're designing it, you want to think about like, oh yeah, like how will the player interact with it, sort of thing, and like what will they be generally doing? Again, if you have a game where it's like they're not jumping a lot, you might not want to include super big jumps unless you have a way to get over them, for example, or like a big gap. Or like, are you going to be fighting other players and like how is that going to affect it? Because like, you know, if you're trying to make like a, let's say like Smash Bros kind of clone, for example, like you're generally going to want to, it's like a platform fighter, so you're obviously not going to like entirely focus on having it where you're like a whole flat, like sort of like Street Fighter sort of stage. So you'll want to kind of incorporate that sort of like platform part of it. Difficulty and progression are also kind of like, important parts of it. In some cases, you don't want like things to get super boring or like just be too hard. You gotta kind of find a balance there. Even if like, you're making something that is not meant to be hard, you still want to have some sort of progression, like make someone feel like they're getting somewhere. The last thing you want is someone to just be like aimlessly wandering, be like, I'm not having fun right now, because at the end of the day, you kind of want your game to be at least a little fun. So, but difficulty curves are like one kind of way people like to illustrate this idea. Say your tutorial level, you kind of like start off not really knowing how to play the game. You kind of build up a little bit of that skill. Then like new mechanic is introduced, and you're kind of like not like put back to zero, but like it's kind of changes how you interact with like the space. And so it's just kind of like that like sort of repeating pattern. It doesn't have to be that way either. You could try to have it be the opposite of like maybe you start off knowing like how to play like you expect your player to know how to play the game from the start, and then you kind of like recontextualize it as you go on. So you don't have to rigidly follow any of this, but like it's just kind of things that we've generally found like work well. Now the big question, how do I make a level? Well, as long as you like have fun doing it, it's not really like a right or wrong necessarily. Like you can kind of like design it however you want. Like Metal Gear Solid, a lot of those levels were just like designed with like little like Lego blocks, which is kind of weird. Same with like Super Mario Bros. All they did was just like have line paper and just kind of like block it out. So it doesn't have to be like the actual way you plan out a level doesn't have to be like any specific way. There's no right or wrong way. But it also kind of depends on like what kind of level do you want to make. So your like theme can kind of help inspire a lot of your different mechanics. Like two examples I own here, like Psychonauts. Whole game's kind of about like going into people's brains and stuff. So like you can kind of play around with like the different characters you're interacting with. So like the first level is like you're going into the mind of like a drill sergeant, and he's like got like a war zone basically in his head. So like you can kind of have a lot of different like fun like set pieces for that as well. It also just kind of like can help, the theme can kind of just help influence pretty much everything else around it. Like Ultra Kill as well, it's like the whole kind of like desert level area is supposed to be like the greed layer of hell, and the sand's all golden. It's like it punishes you for touching it. You don't want to like indulge in that greed sort of thing. So yeah, and like mechanics can kind of help influence the theme, vice versa. It's kind of just like once you have the idea of what you want the level to be, it kind of just like builds on itself in that way. So now the actual making part of your level, you'll want to start off small and like draft it out. Don't do it like one big piece of paper. I mean, you can, but like it's a lot easier if you kind of like have it into small chunks. A lot of games will do it where it's like maybe like screens or something like that, where it's like you can kind of have it in more like bite-sized parts. There's also like gray boxing, which is just kind of like you always want to like kind of plan out the level, how it will look. Like no, not necessarily look, but like the layout more than you want to have like the visuals in mind, because like art you can do later, but the actual like structure of the level is a lot better to get down early rather than changing it all later. So and also like you can actually get an engine then and like kind of lay it out, and that's like a lot better for playtesting, because last thing you want is to like do all this nice artwork for it just to be like, actually I don't like this theme very much, it doesn't play super well. So yeah. So the actual making part, I'm done yapping. But tutorial levels, so like obviously you need to explain to your player in some capacity, or not if you don't want to do that, how you want to like how they want to like play the game essentially. So like like anyone have any like tutorial levels in mind that like they really like for whatever reason? There are no wrong answers, but like there's actually no wrong. Yeah.
The tutorial level in Pizza Tower is quite nice. Like you show up to the lobby of the tower, and before you can keep going, it forces you to go through like a little maze, and it's like, oh, okay. It forces you to find all your key binds that you need to interact with everything. And a cool little feature of that tutorial level is that if you beat it under a certain amount of time, the game will recognize that, hey, you've probably played this game before, and it unlocks all of the lap 2 secret endings in all of the stages in the game.
Sure.
So it just kind of makes your life a little bit easier. It's like, oh, okay, we got you.
Sure. Any other suggestions? Oh, yep.
Well, it's like not like a platform or anything, but I think in Bug Fables, the first chapter is basically a tutorial. Got to use like fighting enemies and bosses. I think it's like really good since like it's not really hard at all, but like it also gives you a feel for the game.
Yeah, it lets you like kind of get like a vibe of what it is like before you like really get into it. Yeah. Yeah.
Hollow Knight, where you just get, here's the buttons to heal, here's the buttons to attack. Teaches you there are like flying enemies, platforming, secrets as well. There are secrets
Yeah.
you can find.
Yeah.
To teach you the basic mechanics there.
I definitely like Hollow Knights just because, yeah, like of the secrets thing. It's like you can kind of like already feel like you're exploring and like finding things before you actually like get into the game. So
Take the training wheels off.
right, yeah,
Probably the Minecraft tutorial, like console things.
yeah. I forgot about those.
Oh my
Because
God.
honestly, like I feel like Java not having those is like just kind of like throws you in and just be like figure it out. And I think like the console ones definitely like help guide you along because Minecraft's like a very dense game.
Founding aspect.
Yeah.
It's a very complex game.
Right.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I guess the Minecraft tutorial worlds also teach you that, hey, the end dimension exists and nether portal exists.
Yeah, like there's a lot of things in that game where it's like, how is someone supposed to figure that out?
I think it might have been just made by a guy or something.
Maybe. Yeah, one more.
Okay, I think a good tutorial level in a game is probably. Well, you ever played like one of those Lego games where like like the Lego Batman games? Where you
Yeah.
have that first level where they kind of like introduce you. It's not anything specific, but like those intro levels usually help you like seep in, figure out how the game works. Lego Batman 2 comes to mind.
Yeah. Sweet.
Everyone already mentioned all the good ones.
Right. No, that's fair. I mean, there's plenty more good ones, but yeah, good selection of them. So, all right, the actual making part. So, I want you guys to just like get a piece of paper out and just kind of like sketch out, like basically just like come up with an idea for like a rough game. Doesn't have whatever genre you want, whatever you kind of want to do with that. Just kind of like make a sort of like basic layout for a tutorial. Just doesn't have to be super detailed. Just like kind of help explain mechanics that you might have in mind, and like stuff like that. So I'll give you guys like 5-10 minutes on that.
If y'all need paper, I got some.
All right, we're gonna finish up on the tutorial part now. All right, so next part is like opening levels or like first kind of levels sort of thing. So like, I mean, some of these are still kind of tutorials in themselves, but like similar kind of thing. So like these are a couple ones I thought of that I think are really good like first levels for a variety of different reasons. Mainly because it kind of lets you like explore the kind of mechanics and like not. I mean, sometimes they are kind of railroady, but like also sometimes it's just like very cool like narrative set pieces as well. Just kind of getting you into it. I don't know. These are ones I thought of. What do you guys think? Is there any ones that like you in particular like this is one of the best first levels? Yeah.
Depending on how many times I played the game, I would say Mario 1-1 or just
Yeah.
Battlefield maybe.
Yeah, those are classics. So, yeah.
I think the first level of Shovel Knight is really good.
Mhm.
I think the music is awesome and also like classic boss and everything.
Right.
Yeah.
The opening level for Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain, so it like starts out like in a hospital and then it goes through very intense and you have like a bunch of like the game telling you, oh, these are the controls and everything, and you're going like, what the hell is even happening?
Yeah. Any other ones that people got in mind? They can kind of be synonymous with like a tutorial, but like a lot of time I kind of like see it as like it's just more of like a general sort of like it gets you into the gameplay more so. Yeah.
The old Minecraft tutorial, like the console edition one. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, we mentioned that for tutorials. So, yeah.
I guess Firelink, because it both has like enemies you actually see, and it's also kind of acts like a hub, I guess.
Sure. Yeah, one more.
I think I would like to spot like a level in Portal 2 in the early game where it introduces momentum for the first time.
Yeah.
As a mechanic.
Yeah, I think like Valve and a lot of their games do a really good job of like first couple levels like really easing you into things in like a fun way at least. So, all right. So next part, make a first level. So like different from your like tutorial, because like sometimes they can kind of be separate. Unless you want to just have it extend off from your tutorial, I don't really care. Do it how you want, but like just kind of make a sort of first level sequence. So. All right. So, finally, challenge your players in some way. So it doesn't have to be like a boss fight or like a final level. It can be, but like try to find like some sort of way to like either make a new level or like at the end of your current level, kind of find a way to like challenge your player. Give them like something to kind of like test the mechanics you've been kind of talking about a little bit. So again, can be a boss fight, can be just like, it could be the final level if you want to plan like that far ahead, or like a world or the game, whatever you want. Just kind of like trying to think of a way, like ways that you can kind of like implement the mechanics that you're utilizing for your game in ways that like can kind of challenge the player in some way. Alrighty. You don't necessarily have to completely stop if you have like other ideas, but like I'm gonna get started on the next part. So presenting time. So I'm gonna get the doc cam set up. Maybe. Don't say it. I know what you're gonna do. I know what you are.
I only missed some of your
Then
presentation.
I have this one. This one's like it's a little more complex. There's some water. You can't really cross over that, or you could go through like the forest before. There's a little green guy down there. You can barely see him, but he's there. So if you talk to him, he'll like join your party, and then it shows you can get like more people if you just like talk to them basically. And there's like a guy on a horse, and he implements like the horse mechanic of like sometimes people will be on horses. This makes so much more sense if you played Fire Emblem. Just trust me.
It's not a real game.
And then for my like climactic finale, there's a big dragon and a whole lot of lava, and like your party's kind of split up into two groups, and that's more complex and requires thinking. There's also some like they are terrible drawings, but like they're supposed to be Pegasus knights, and they're like on a flying horse, and they can go over the lava. So you gotta keep that in mind. So.
Is there a lore reason why they can fly?
Because they are horses with wings.
Okay.
So it's the reason they can fly is because they have wings.
Other lore question.
Yeah.
How come they don't catch on fire when they're over the lava?
Because they're high enough over the lava.
But heat rises, so wouldn't that like air fry them? Like, and that would essentially be a convection oven with how much airflow is rising up.
I don't make the Fire Emblem video games. But yeah, there's also a dragon, and dragons are fireproof, so you can just say they're dragons instead, and that solves the issue. But yeah, so those are my levels I sketched out real quick. So
Okay, we should go next.
Cool.
yeah, whoever wants to go next can
Let's
go
go
next.
For a TRPG for the
You
most
can't
part,
really
for a
see
tutorial.
it. You can't really see it, but like, there's like a little guy there, and there's like a little computer screen. There's like some kind of fire thing that I did. We were short with like 30 seconds of the clock, so we're gonna move on. Well, that's on the back side, yeah. So on the second, we said for the first stage, we wanted to do like a fighting game. So like whatever you like lab in a fighting game. You can't really see this. We need to really light. Can you do that? Yeah, turn that down.
Kind of helps a
It's,
little bit.
I didn't draw very deep, but basically it's like a laboratory, where it's like circular in the back with windows, big pole in the middle, all sorts of like machinery and cabinets and stuff. This is where like you like test combos and stuff like that, like labbing combos. That's why it's a lab. So
What?
yeah, that was this guy's idea.
That's awesome.
That's a good idea.
Then for the last one, we skipped with the fighting game idea, and we have a like he's like the final boss of the game, and he is I don't know, crag or swamp you'd call it,
Yeah.
marsh. But the so you can see here, there he is. There's this dude. There's like this big like tree, which is like the focal point, like this like dead tree there. There's like some water, like cattails, smoke in the background, hill. And the whole idea is to keep this tree right in the mid, like no matter where you go on like on the side to side, the tree does not leave the screen. It's kind of like a focus point of it, so you can gives you a sense of scale, I guess. I don't know. We just thought it was cool.
Sweet.
Nice.
Yeah, you wanna go?
Alright.
Wants to go next, alright.
Can I bring my paper too?
Yeah.
So this is working pretty good. I got it figured out.
Alright, who is here for the first meeting? Okay, you guys might recognize this. So, we got Little Billy's costume party. You go.
Big prank.
Yeah, alright, so for those of you who were not here, basically, main character, his name's Billy. No one likes him because he stinks.
I like it.
And he got invited to this costume party. The only issue is he has no costume. Oh no.
Uh-oh.
So you need to find costumes throughout the game, use them. You're also like severely bullied, so you need to beat those guys on. It's kind of like a beat 'em up. For the tutorial level, it starts off in his house. These look like bushes, but it's like just mess, garbage. He doesn't clean up.
That's why it's so stinky.
That's why he's so stinky. Now, base, no costume Billy. He can jump, he can double jump. That's kind of it. So that's what that is really covering here. You can also like search for keys. The key. Now, in your front yard, you got enemies. These are bullies. They're egging his house. You get your first costume, which lets you attack enemies. Probably like maybe like a superhero costume, like a basic punch or kick or something. Use that to defeat them. Moving on to the first level, it's like on a street. There's gonna be like some environmental, I don't really know what the word is.
Hazards?
Yeah, environmental hazards. You double jump over these Halloween decor pumpkins, and there are these spider Halloween decorations drop down from the ceiling, and if they touch you, you get hurt. Of course, some platforms and enemies for you to defeat. And at the end, usually at the end of a level, you'll get a costume. This frog costume, we're thinking it's mostly going to be a jump thing. Better jumps, you can Goomba stomp on these, Goomba stomp enemies, and probably wall jump too. Now for the first boss, of course, he doesn't have a name yet, but we're just calling him, I call him the big bully for right now.
I just call him, well, I was thinking King Bone, but I don't know.
Bone.
King something,
Yeah. So this will kind of test your ability to, I guess, it's mostly going to be about fighting. For his powers, I guess, every boss is going to have 2 phases except for the final boss. That's what I was thinking. He can summon goons. He charges forward, kind of like a straight path right through here, and you got to jump over him. Yeah. Now for the second phase, he gets really angry, as you can see right here. He speeds up, and then he destroys the platforms that you got right here. It's kind of going to force you to change costumes. Well, which also I forgot to mention, you can just do that whenever you want. More goons, there's going to be a new spray paint goon, can like spray poison cloud. Spray poison cloud. And maybe projectile, I wasn't really entirely sure about that one. For the reward, you get his skeleton mask. Don't really know what that does yet. It might do something pretty cool though.
Maybe it lets you charge like he does in the boss fight.
Maybe.
Yeah,
That's what we
big
got.
stuff, yeah.
Would you like to present?
Oh yeah. This is kind of related to the last video. This isn't really anything specifically. I just doodle these for fun. They're just like enemy designs that could be in the game.
Like old sport.
Yeah.
Little John looks like Manny.
The hobos.
Hobo.
I do also think.
That's nice.
No, these are fun.
See like little arms. Looks like
Is that Cartman South Park?
That's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. Yeah.
Cool.
Sweet.
Also have like Lightning McQueen here.
That's pretty chill. Honestly, that's hype.
Is that all you guys have? Yeah. Awesome.
Cool. Sounds good.
I think we all did a good job.
Who wants to go next?
I
You
think
guys?
it was necessary.
You wanna go after?
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was gonna say like Five Nights at Freddy or something.
Ooh.
Because it looked like a FNAF map.
Alright, so our game is gonna be like a top-down, sort of like shooter, twin stick, whatever.
And so you'll spawn in a room down here. I guess that's where to start. You got, basic controls, maybe like look around with a mouse, shoot to click. And you're enter the first room, which has a giant pit. That's why there's an exclamation point. It's a pit. And this guy with a gun who's shooting you, and it's like, oh, you can't really get across to him. And so you could either shoot him from here with your own gun, or a barrel, which could be signified with a skull, or most video game tropes, red barrel, that it will explode. And this can both signify that, maybe you could attack this enemy, but then you also have this glass wall right here that could break the glass wall and you can enter the next room, which sort of teach you, destructible environment, use it to your advantage. And then in this next room you get, your next weapon, grenades. There's an armored person, so maybe you'd say, a gun may not hurt them as much as a grenade will, so that will encourage you to, use the grenade. And so it also teaches you another glass wall. You use grenades as opposed to the environment as well to sort of break through that. Of course, enemies will drop money, and then that's when the tab, after you defeat the enemies, you could enter the shop and then exit the stage.
Money, is that a reference to the semester jam?
Maybe. Alright, so this here is like the first level. We wanted to make sure it's like simple and straightforward for our player to like get them accustomed to the controls, how they can play the game. So it's a simple layout, box building with 4 rooms that they can enter, loot, kill enemies, and pick up weapons. And for like later levels, we can have like scripted events where a SWAT team enters in like a bank per se, and now the bank is under like patrol by the SWAT team, and you could try going out like a stealth style, or you could try going in guns blazing. But the challenge there is that the SWAT team is going to be heavily armed, and they're going to have better weapons than you, and will probably kill you in like a matter of seconds. Yeah, that's what we got.
Sweet. Sweet.
Okay, so I took inspiration from, I don't know if you guys know what Metal Slug is. It used to be like an arcade game that was really big, at least back home. And so at first, you're giving this little guy, you're first giving a pistol, and you're spawned an enemy. You're told like you have to click A to shoot. Then when you can also like tilt left or right on the joystick to like dash. And then here it's like, oh no, I have no ammo left. And then the game reads like, press Y to reload, enemy dies. And then like as you continue, you're exposed to like different power-ups that can like spawn throughout the level. It's like RNG based. There's never like a guarantee if you're gonna get a gun power-up or like a mobile suit or like a tank, for example, here that you just like pick it up. You just like get on the tank, and it's like click ZR to activate special abilities. And it's basically like crowd control, like these like you could think of. I thought of like, oh, keys, like from Breath of the Wild, like eliminate a large swarm of enemies like really quickly. It's like the second part of the tutorial, then I didn't like really get to finish it much because time ran out. It's basically showing you like traps and whatnot to avoid, and then like the end game, the goal of each level is just like reach the rice bowl and just like eat and sit down, like have a good meal. That's like signifies that you finished the level. And then for the first level, I have here there's a little guy. You have like some spikes like hide and like pop up sporadically, so you just like time it. Then you're given a wave of enemies, and then here is like the first like interesting part of the game. You are given 2 options. You can either go forward or go down. If you go down, you're like in an underground little thing, and some enemies spawn from the underground roof, and you have to get through them without dying. And at the end, there's like a little treasure box, like you can either collect like loot or abilities, and then you have like an exit over here. And then if you didn't opt for this, the game would have presented you with a slide mechanic where you can topple enemies over and stun them for a bit, so you can get the upper hand and maybe kill them if you have the chance to. And then, for example, here, you were, after you completed like that little mechanic tutorial, you're given like a little, this is supposed to be an AK, like a little AK, so that you can like upgrade from the pistol to a bigger gun, like, and can kill enemies easier, and you will reach the rice bowl to finish. And then for the boss, okay, so his name is Serpent Slip, and he has 150 HP. And like this arrow here, like he spawns an enemy, he spawns an enemy, he spawns an enemy, like to distract you as you go around. And each boss has a little gimmick. Like for example here, he has a bullet-resistant vest, which reduces the amount of damage your bullet does. So the strategy to beat him is to hit him right here in his tail, but you can't hit it directly since he's always facing you. And if you were to go over here, he would be facing you, so like the tail is always on the opposite end. The only way to like get him to hit him like in the weak spot is if a grenade power-up just like spawns in front of you, you pick it up, you throw it, and you hit his tail, which deals double damage. And then at the end, like once you defeat each boss, you're giving a curry plate. There are 7 to collect in total, 1 in each world. That's it.
I would kill for some curry right now.
I'd like some curry. I'd like the blue Sonic curry.
Yeah. Does anyone want to go next then?
Yes. I'm a part of this group.
Wow.
Make sure this tastes like sweet.
I'll keep an eye on it, but no promises. If it explodes, that's not on me.
You can show both, but you can show the person that coming.
So this is our game, working title Jump Speed Man Girl, where you switch between Jump Man and Speed Girl. So it's a 2D platformer, movement platformer, might I add. And this is our tutorial level. So both Jumpman and Speed Girl can move and jump, but one is better at doing one thing than the other, of course. So you'll start out as Jumpman, where you'll do like just a little jump over a little pit that just kind of tells you, hey, I have a jump button, and then. And then you'll jump straight up by holding the jump button up that big old ledge. And you'll be like, wow, I can hold my jump button that I just found. And then it'll force you to walk forward over a slightly bigger gap that you have to, walk and hold the jump button to get over. So it's like, okay, this is the limitations of my character. And then you'll have little button prompts with a little switchery-do that switches you from Jumpman to Speed Girl. And then by which point you will slide down that little slope to a very short time door. So whenever you go down a slope of Speed Girl, like, oh, you pick up a lot of speed. Oh, I'm going really fast. And you'll go over the pressure plate really quite quickly, which will allow you to get through the door in time. But if you don't jump in time, you'll hit a wall with a custom wall impact animation. It'll be like, oh man, I really feel a fool. I hit this wall.
Oh no, I got a concussion.
Do you want to take the next part?
Alright, so after that point you get a checkpoint, and then you have this drop here into another slope. Since you're still in speed mode, Speed Girl, you get up a lot of speed, and you have to make this jump. And so you do that, this first big one, you can do that as Speed Girl, but then the second one is too big. You can't make it just as Speed Girl, so you have to make the jump, and then there's this little switch power up. It lets you switch to Jumpman like immediately.
While you're going fast.
And so then you
There's
can
a cool down in between when you can switch.
So then you can jump, and you have the big jump and the forward momentum, so you can make it across the big gap and reach the exit.
Yes, that's the tutorial stage.
So then we have, what do you guys want to present the first stage?
I can do it. This is the first stage. There's kind of like a bit of a split path here. It's allowing you to kind of choose whether to like go in as Jumpman or Speed Girl. If you go, and it introduces some unique enemies that can only be defeated by these certain changes. Like, so if you go down the Speed Girl path, you get hit by these like beetles that require you hitting them at a certain speed to knock them off course. This also introduces some curving momentum, where if you run up slopes, you can maintain your momentum and climb walls like that funny pizza tower game. Oh, there's some collectibles too. I hope they're unique too. Oh yeah. If you do the Jumpman part, we can do these very funny horizontal mans called Johns. You need to jump at them at a certain height, and then you just knock them down.
You kill John.
Like a duel.
No, you just kill him.
Oh.
It's pretty defenseless, actually.
we got like a little descent down towards like this chasm that allows you to keep momentum. There's like a little like momentum enemy here, then you have to climb up, and then there's a forced switch forcing you into Jumpman, and that introduces a wall jump mechanic where you can wall jump at a certain speed to hit the portal. If you somehow miss it, there's a noob trap. Everyone loves
if you
noob
keep running up
traps.
the wall, you die.
Oh, and then this is like a teleport. It transports the person from here to here. We like to reward the player with some coins to collect and also some more Johns to destroy.
Yes, you kill a rogue.
And then a breakable wall, because why not, into a checkpoint, and that's how far we got to that level.
Sorry, who wants to do the final level?
Okay.
Sure. So for the final level, the challenge level, this is a movement platformer. We want to challenge your movement, your reaction time as a gamer. So this is a speed run level. So at the very beginning of the level, you have this little pressure plate right here, and that starts a timer that forces you to get around the entire level in a certain amount of time. If you can't do it, if you're too slow, the exit will close, but then this little door will open, allowing you to try the whole circuit again. But it starts off where you go down here, you drop onto a slope. So like, oh, okay, I'm going fast. And then you have to jump to this platform, which will then break down and provide a soft cushion on these spikes. So like it forces you to time a little slope jump, right? And then you continue, and then you have to keep going really fast as Speed Girl to go over this pressure plate and this time door. And if you can make it through the door fast, you'll be on the other side of it. But unlike the tutorial level where you'll have a custom impact animation for hitting a wall at high speed, we have spikes. So we're like, if you don't jump in time, if you make yourself a fool, you'll die. We punish the player for being stupid. But if you do it correctly, you'll run into this John, you'll kill him instantly, and the player will be like, yeah, this is feedback, I love this. So then you'll hit a checkpoint in case you die, it happens. So then you'll hit this switch where it's like, okay, now you're Jumpman, and then you'll jump really high, and then you'll hit this ceiling slope, which will kind of push you forward as Jumpman, by which point you can switch back to Speed Girl to get speed going down, and then you switch again to Jumpman so that you can wall jump to avoid these spikes, and then you'll kind of slide down these slopes, and then you're going fast as Jumpman here, and then you'll have to do a bunch of sequentially timed wall jumps to make it up the top of this chasm to where the exit is. And if you mess up, you die.
Now picture is a roll of Johns to the exit, just because.
Question.
Yes.
If you have a checkpoint in a level with a timer, what happens when you die? Does the timer reset?
The game uninstalls.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure. Just wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
Question.
Yeah.
So was there any inspiration? 'Cause I might be wrong. I'm just feeling a lot of Fireboy and Water Girl up with this.
So that's where that's where I started.
Inspiration from Too Fast for Gnomes. I don't know if anybody's played that game, but like.
So the characters here, that was inspired by that famous Flash game, yes. But their abilities were inspired by the Portal Gel. So I was like, what if I made the Portal Blue Repulsion Gel and the Portal Speed Orange Gel into characters? Which is how I got here. And then some of the movement mechanics, I was like, Pizza Tower.
Mario and Sonic.
Yeah.
And also Sonic.
Mario jumping.
No, Mario's Jumpman. Sonic is
Sonic's
Speedman.
Jumpman.
Oh yeah, this is
Don't worry,
Mario
it's
reference.
It's not Sonic
Fanfic here.
Right.
I can find that.
Anywho.
Alright, you guys wanna go?
We didn't really collaborate. It was more like we were copying each other's notes.
It's collaboration.
Yeah.
Get an idea
It was
about
a
each other,
way
you
to
know?
collaborate.
Yeah. So this is mine. Alright. It's pretty simple layout tutorial. You introduce a single jump. You ramp it up with a double jump, and then wall jumps. Pretty simple, right? So move on further into the level. You're introduced with a box and some spikes. Obviously spikes are not good, so you are forced to move a box to cover the spikes so you can get to the exit. Pretty simple. So for the second level, we introduce a lever. The lever would trigger a drawbridge to allow you to cross, and we introduce the ability to double jump into wall jumps. So you would double jump into wall jumps, climb up, and then I would have a lever and a moving platform, and you would be forced to time the lever to force the platform to allow you to get up to the win condition. And as for the final boss, I created a pretty ad hoc, there's no better way to put it, way of playing. So it's essentially Death Run, where you have this brainless enemy who just walks upon this battlefield of traps. And if the enemy were to reach the pressure plate, you would die. These spikes would kill you. So you would use these levers to trigger traps and hopefully kill the enemy. That's about it.
Ooh, nice.
So here's mine so far. Mine's more like a platforming puzzle type game. So you'll spawn up right here, and then throughout the level, these texts will pop up for a tutorial because this right here is a tutorial level. So first you'll spawn here, and then it says use A and D to move around, since I'm a keyboard player. I'm using keyboard instead of controller, but this is compatible with controller as well. So you move over here, then it'll tell you space to jump, and then right here there'll be a box, and it'll tell you can move the box to help you move around with the crate. So you can move it over here, and you can drop it down here, and then there's gonna be spikes over here, and so you can place the box, and you can use the box to jump over the spikes. But once you do that, you're gonna realize, so the door is the final, this is how you get out, there's gonna be a wall right here. And so then you have to figure out a way how to get this wall down. Then you realize this area down here. So then you go back over here, jump down, but then now you realize this gap up here is too big, so now you're stuck. And then you see this pressure plate, and you see there's a second box down here. So you move this box over here, press to activate the pressure plate, and then this wall down here will disappear. So then you go over here, and then this is where you'll introduce double jump. So you get up here, get on top of the box, and boom, now you exit. That's just my first level. And then my second level, I have is this right here. So then you'll spawn down here, and then you'll see this obstacle that you need to get up from. This is where you introduce wall jumping. So boom, 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 get up here, and then you jump up here, and then you realize that the gap from right here is too big to just regularly push the box. And I introduced this mechanic called dash, where you can dash the character into the box to give it momentum to push it even further. But then this is where the big mechanic of the whole game comes through, and in that span of 30 seconds, the whole level will reset and time will go back. The time will go back and you'll spawn back right here. But when you reset, everything you did that first time will stay the same. So if you get the box over here, then 30 seconds pass, you'll come back right here, but the box will stay right here. So then you spawn back here, you wall jump up here, and then you can push the box into this pressure plate. which then will activate these moving platforms. And then you see that the finish line is up here, and you need to do some wall jumps right here. But since this is moving, you're gonna have to stop these platforms at a certain time to then be able to jump up from here, up to here, wall jump and get up here. So then, once you get over here, I introduce, so you put the pressure plate right here, this starts moving around, and then I introduce this mechanic of you resetting time forcefully by just pressing Q. So then when you get here, you can time when these platforms are gonna stop at the best time for you to get up here. So you can press Q, you go down here, wall jump up here, just jump on the platforms, wall jump, and you get right here. Like that. Or if you think you're just skilled enough, you don't have to stop it at all, and while it's moving, somehow get up there. That's what I have so far.
All right. Well, that was awesome. Thank you guys for showing off your very fun ideas. I hope to see those kind of keep developing in some way, potentially. We'll see. But just some quick reminders. We're doing 2D movement and physics and Unity next week. Creative committee still open. If you're interested in applying, talk to me. If you're interested in doing that at all. Or creative committee chair, sorry. Semester jam, ongoing, starts today. Theme's money. Do what you will with that. Literally, it just has to like have money in it in some way. I mean, preferably as a more important part than just like, oh yeah, I have currency. But like, I guess you could spin it as that way if you really wanted.
If you have questions, feel free to ask us, okay?
Yeah. And dues, Adam's here if you're interested in paying them. So, yeah. Other than that, go forth, make games, be awesome. So.
I just got chills down my spine.
Chills! You are literally chills, Andy, bro.